Here, Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross. As you can see right behind us, we are the Ducross brothers. Cross that line with us Wednesdays. We're either your acquired taste or we are not. But we are back.
But you know what people's acquired taste has shifted? And I was talking about this to one of my coworkers, Anthony, today, was I find it very amusing, to me at least, is that we were one of the first people that said that the celebrity era of combat sports was upon us.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, it was going to happen, and there was nothing you can do to change or alter that. And everybody thought we were ridiculous, that it's going to ruin the sport, this and that. Well,
here.
We're approaching Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather
Mere
Jr.
days away.
Who would have thought that you would have heard those two fighters, and I say fighters because unfortunately Logan Paul is listed as one. So it's very interesting to see where we're at.
Right.
That it's the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake, that are part of this big extravaganza going down this weekend. And guess what, folks? It's not on Saturday. It's on Sunday. And here's the interesting thing about this fight card. This fight card was supposed to happen back in February, Tristan. But due to the pandemic,
it just kept pushing it and
I don't think anybody knew that this fight was supposed to take place back in February. It was so under wraps and so low key until it was just like, boom, Floyd Mayweather.
So Logan Paul, Sean, is 0-1 as a professional. We'll take on Floyd Mayweather, who is 50-1. When you look at these two, they are completely two polar.
Floyd Mayweather's undefeated, bro.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
His last fight, Tristan, was against Conor McGregor.
I swear he lost one fight, but I thought that he should have lost more fights. But that's neither here nor there. But
we both know he should have lost several
right,
fights.
But Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul is a expedition bout. Is no judges. There will be a referee for direction. Don't know why. If there's no judges. But wait, there could be a knockout. What? The rounds are 8 3-minute rounds. 12-ounce gloves. No headgear, no judges, no sanctioning body, and no winner will be read. So what is the point of us having this fight? We knew that it was an expedition and it wasn't going to count.
Because you knew it was a smart play by Floyd Mayweather to get this as an expedition bout. But win, lose, or draw, this will not look good for Floyd Mayweather if, in fact, Floyd Mayweather loses to Logan Paul. Also, the reason why this fight probably most likely is not sanctioned is, one, because of the records are so incredibly lopsided, but also the fact is that they're not even in the same weight class. So legitimately, you cannot have this bout being sanctioned because it's not legitimately in a weight class.
Okay, speaking about that, so I was wondering, right? I was doing some research. So based off of everything that we are discussing, right?
Yes.
This is what it comes out to. Come on. There we go. Bragging rights. That's all that is. But what I also dropped in here is, look at this. Logan's base pay will be $250,000. He will get 10% the pay-per-view buys. Paul says with that, he estimates that he will make $20 million. That's begging and pleading that this pay-per-view does not get pirated, one. Two, this pay-per-view is at $49.95. 98, 95, one of the two. That's him pleading that this happens. Mayweather base pay is $10 million. He gets half the pay-per-view buys. Either way, this is a money play. And one reason why I suggest that is because anybody remember the base pay and what was going on with the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather pay? Does anybody remember that? Because check out this incredible feat. Mayweather and Conor McGregor pay-per-view was $89.95. That is $40 more than what this pay-per-view is going to be, right?
Right.
2017, they did $600 million. Floyd made $100 million. McGregor made $30 million. Look at what Floyd did. Look what McGregor did. Those were two of the biggest polarizing figures in combat sports. That's $600 million pay-per-view buys to get that.
And look at Logan Paul. Logan Paul is 26 years old, and Logan Paul has Instagram followers of about 19 mil.
19
mil is what this kid has. At the age of 26, him and his brother have taken social media, good, bad, or indifferent, and completely turned it up on the side of its head.
So many people are so fascinated
with the Paul brothers.
Not just with the Paul brothers, with these YouTubers, TikTokers fighting. Now, whether you like it or not, is getting people to discuss the combat sports world that we all love and that we're all in, that we have invested time in, over years in, blood, sweat, and tears. Good, bad, or indifferent, people are talking about it. The bad thing about it is that this is all laughable. Like, there is only one thing about this. It's a money play.
When you talk about being a money play and you talk about where this is going, and you look about what is to come, okay? This is on Showtime.
Which is interesting because
what happened with Triller? And that's the thing. But I want to get the Triller, okay? I want to get the Triller. So Showtime, and I posted this the other day, has notably been hurting money-wise on the boxing side of the spectrum since Floyd Mayweather retired, to the point that they have cut back on the production of boxing, as well as the fights they've put on for boxing. They recently brought back Bellator. Now they've signed Jake Paul to a multi-fight deal. They've got Floyd Mayweather and this expedition bout. So they're going to do an incredible amount of money on basically putting their eggs into the Paul brothers. Now this brings up Triller, okay? Triller. Jake Paul can lay hands to that the growth of Triller because he put his name and he put Fight Club out there for Triller. They moved this fight of Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul to Sunday to avoid Triller's Fight Club that was going to feature Teofimo Lopez on the same night.
Did you
on Saturday? But then they removed them, Teofimo, back to the 19th of June.
And that reminds me, did you hear about the Teofimo? To jump to that real quick with Triller, because this is interesting. Because since you're talking about Triller, Teofimo Lopez's fight is only on Triller because we all know how boxing works, right?
Yeah, because of the bid.
Yes, ultimately, you get organizations that can bid on fights.
Yes, if you're a free agent and you're not signed to
Triller outbid Top Rank, ESPN, DAZN, and Matchroom. All for Teofimo Lopez. And did they lose out on Logan Paul and Jake Paul?
But they didn't lose out. But what's interesting about this is that when we talked about Triller, we knocked Triller's commentary.
100%.
We talked about
garbage.
Everything that they did, that it was complete trash.
High res.
But then you went ahead and you went out and got Teofimo Lopez and his big bout. Okay? Bravo. Real boxing, not fake boxing. And then you go ahead and you sign Jim Lampley, a multi-fight deal to come back to commentary.
The man that knows
away
the sweet
from
science.
HBO to discuss this. That's huge. You bring Nigel Lithgow from So You Think You Can Dance, and I think it's American Idol is the other show that he did.
That he
Production-wise,
yep.
to Triller. So now you're trying to upgrade, but yeah, you still got Snoop Dogg and the after-hour shenanigans and all that other stuff like that. So it's interesting that we got two sides of the spectrum. We got Triller, who is all about the weirdness.
The sideshows.
And then you've got Showtime, who's about the seriousness. We flip-flopped to Triller's approaching seriousness, and Showtime's approaching fraud. And I know fraud's a hard word, but when you've got a legitimate boxer versus a guy who's 1-0 in an expedition bout, and there's slightly a little bit of fraud going on there. They're just in it for penny pitching and how much money I can get.
Yes.
That's where we're at. And you know that's what's going on with Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. That bout's actually going to happen. Y'all must have forgot that this bout has been in negotiation since the shenanigans at Triller. See, everything has a tie-in on what happened at Triller.
All right. So, Tyron Woodley, right, versus Jake Paul.
Yes.
We knew this was going to happen. We just didn't know how quickly this was going to happen.
Correct.
Woodley on a 4-fight skid, 39 years old. I hope to...
Tyron Woodley says that this is the easiest fight of my career, the biggest purse of my career, and it's all in one night.
Biggest purse.
Go ask Ben Askren how that worked out.
Biggest purse, sure. Is he the fighter that he once was? Hell no. I'm just being honest.
I saw a
39 years old, and I question whether or not he can actually box and not MMA strike.
And you know, that's where I was going to go, was that they showed a footage of Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul going at it in the locker room at Jake Paul's fight against Ben Askren, where his Jake Paul's trainer goes up to him and is like, go ahead. Bet you 10-1 you've never worn these. I've worn these. Talking smack about how he's never worn boxing gloves. But yeah, we're going to get this bout August 28th. And Tyron Woodley is talking like Tyron Woodley always does, as if he's never lost a bout in his life.
Look, if he comes out and fights like he did his last fight, where he's going backwards, no pressure, only looking for the right hand.
His last two fights, Tristan, he's been submitted and knocked out.
Dude, he's no longer in UFC. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah,
because there's no way that UFC would allow this fight to happen.
No, but hey. Wouldn't it be funny that if Tyron Woodley does knock out Jake Paul and Dana White comes out and goes, I told you, I don't care about those guys. They're all a bunch of frauds. They're all a bunch of phony people. My fighter knocked out their guy. You don't think Dana White's going to stake claim to that?
Considering that there has been no real wording out there that Tyron Woodley is not with the UFC.
Yeah, it is. He was released. It was announced. He was
100% now?
Yeah, he was not re-signed by the UFC.
Because he fought his last contract.
Yeah,
his last fight.
He's entirely a free agent. But still, I don't think it's going to stop Dana White from staking claim of, well, he was one of my guys.
If he gets knocked out, right?
Yeah.
Is it over? Like, he should never be able to show his face
if Tyron Woodley
in MMA.
See. Now it was understandable that when Ben Askren got knocked out, and I say knocked out, still up for debate. But
Ben Askren was coming off a hip surgery and he was fat.
You got Tyron Woodley and you have Ben Askren.
Two different.
It's vastly different. And if it was me, out of those two, it makes sense for Ben Askren to go into hiding. But if Tyron Woodley loses this, I mean, he's got bigger name market value in this game than Ben Askren does.
Yeah, I could attest to that.
So if Tyron Woodley does not come out and put away Jake Paul early and land his vintage overhand right from circa 2000 or 1999, whatever you want to call it. If he doesn't land that overhand right, and knock out Jake Paul, and Jake Paul continues to run roughshod through everybody that steps up, I'm not going to be opposed to saying that if he goes 4-0, Jake Paul,
and has now beaten
and Conor
a
McGregor,
washed up.
and Conor McGregor goes over and beats Dustin Poirier in the rubber match, I will not be surprised if Dana White bites down on his gums because he has worked with Showtime, that we don't see Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor eventually. I don't think that we're going to get the shenanigans that everybody in the social media world is claiming is, oh, we're going to get Jake Paul versus Dylan Deney now.
No.
Why? Because Bellator? No, that's not
That'll
gonna
never
happen.
that will never happen because Dylan Dennis is down here. Jake Paul is up here.
Right.
There's no way Jake Paul, even at what, 3-0 now?
Yeah.
Even where Jake Paul is slotted right now, there is nobody that can come below him in terms of firepower, in terms of star power. No.
You know what?
You have to be a super mega star to be able to step inside that ring. And that's weird to say.
Jake Paul has taken a page out of the playbook of Conor McGregor.
100% he did.
100%.